Hey, hope you're doing great today. Tony here. So today and all of this week, actually, we've been talking about how to create a business by a design, not by default. And what do we mean by that? Well, let me be honest. If you're anything like me, it's really easy to get stuck in the weeds each week of all the jobs you need to do, all the projects that you've got happening, problems with suppliers, sorting out invoices, cash flow problems, a whole bunch of stuff that just is like a never-ending stream of stuff you've got to sort out. It's really easy to get stuck in those weeds and not really spend much time thinking about the big picture. You know, where you're actually heading with the business, what you're looking to achieve, and in particular, what do you need to achieve financially and profit-wise from the business to actually give you the lifestyle and the life that you want. And here's the thing, and I'm sure you've found this, most of us just hope that there's some profit at the end of the month or end of the year. You know, that something will fall out the bottom after we've done all the hard work. Unfortunately, hope is not a strategy for success. You know, planning and intention and design is a much better strategy. So today I'm going to share with you a worksheet that'll help you map out how your business needs to look from a numbers and a financial point of view. And it's an absolute game changer for you. So if you want a copy of that, just write design in the comments, or you can click the download button if you're on the web page for this as well. So I'm going to kick off with a quick story of Graham, who owns a plumbing business. Now, he's been a member of our $1 Million Tradie program. Now, when we first met Graham, he was doing monthly revenue of between $80,000 and $90,000 a month. He had an established business, a pretty decent operator. We took him through the business by design process and mapped out his the financial structure of the business that he needed to succeed. And within 3 months, he'd gone from $80,000 to $90,000 in revenue to $120,000 to $130,000 in monthly revenue. He'd taken his gross margin from mid 30% up to above 40%. And what that meant was he was making an extra $15,000 to $17,000 in gross profit every month, to his bottom line. And he did that without actually having to add more employees, but just getting really clear on the financial goals that he needed to hit for his business. So, and that's a really typical example when people go through this business by design process. And I want you to do it as well. I'm going to walk you through it today. I think you'll find it incredible and incredibly motivating and exciting about what you can achieve in your business. So let's jump into it. I guess first off, I just want to talk about the frustrations of what can happen if you don't actually create your business by design, if you just sort of wing it and make it up as you go along. The first one is often you're just waiting for success to happen. So you get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, and maybe you're just waiting for something to happen before you actually get started on improving things. So maybe you're waiting for winter to end or summer to end, or a busy project to end, or maybe lockdowns to be over and the pandemic to be over. There's always some reason not to make changes and not to get started on doing better. So you might find you're waiting. You might be stalled as well. So without a clear end goal and a clear roadmap to follow, we tend to get stuck in the endless day-to-day stuff of jobs. The urgent stuff that just keeps coming at you. I mean, that's never gonna go away, and so we just have to approach it differently. And ultimately, you feel super frustrated. So if you find that you're getting similar results month on month, year on year, that can really damage your motivation and take away your energy. You feel overwhelmed and can feel a little bit hopeless as well. So that's not good. If you do create a business by design and really map it out and get really intentional about it, first thing, you're going to feel a lot of clarity around what you need to achieve. And that's cool. You know what you need to do to achieve the results you want. The second thing is you'll feel energized. Now, everyone feels better when they've got a clear goal for which they're heading for. So when you're energized, you put more effort in, and frankly, you create better results. And what it does is it lifts you out of the day-to-day stuff. You can see the bigger picture, which is huge for your mental health and your energy. And the last thing is you're going to get massive results. Like when you're clear on what you need to achieve, you're way more likely to hit it. And that's both financial results, cash flow and profit. But the cool thing is when you make more profit and cash flow from your business, you can actually use that to buy your time back. So you can use that to get some more help in the business and create a better lifestyle. Now, money on itself doesn't make you happy, but it can certainly help with a whole lot of things and buy you some time back. And it's the time and the freedom that really helps with you, how much you're enjoying life. I'm sure you can understand that. Okay, so three key things I want to talk about, 3 key principles, if you like, that are important when we're talking about how to create a business by design rather than by accident. So the first one is, I reckon it's critical that we think bigger. So here's the thing. My observation after coaching thousands of business owners is that most people who own a plumbing or electrical or a similar trade business actually don't think big enough. They actually limit the results they can get by what they think is achievable. Now, I'm going to share with you that in our coaching program, we have people doing $1 million revenue a month. We have people achieving 7-figure net profits, and lots of people achieving high 6-figure profits. Now, your business may not, you may not even do high 6-figure or 7-figure revenue right now, let alone profit. So you might be thinking, hey, that sounds like pie in the sky, and I just can't even believe that. What I'm saying to you is that it is achievable, that people are doing it. And if you don't realize that it's achievable, you'll actually limit the success you can have by what you think is possible. So our success is always driven by what we believe is possible. So sometimes we have to upsize our level of belief, and that often can come by surrounding ourselves by other successful people. That really helps. So we need to think bigger. If we limit ourselves, we'll never get better results than our level of thinking. So if you think that $150,000 in profit is all that's ever achievable, well, funnily enough, that's probably all you'll ever achieve. But if you believe $500,000 is possible, then you've definitely got a chance of achieving it. So that's super important. So we need to think bigger, first thing. Next thing is, when we're creating a business by design, we need to break it down into its bits. So what I mean by that is we're going to create a life goal, a vision for our life. Then we're going to figure out how much profit we need to create that business. Once we have a profit figure, and I'm going to work you through the worksheet in a minute. Once we've got a profit figure, we need to break that down into how much revenue we need to do each month and each week and each year to make that happen. We need to break it down into what margins we need to hit. We need to break it down into how many jobs we need to do. Then we need to break it down into how many leads and jobs we need to price. And so it's all mapped out, and we've got some really clear targets to hit to see whether we're on track or not. So we've got to break it down into its bite-sized chunks. That's how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time. Same to create the business that you want, one bite at a time. Which leads me to the third point is we've got to monitor progress, hard out. So all successful athletes will measure their progress. They'll keep score of the game. Same thing for us in business. If we want to have a killer business, we need to track how we're going each week, month, and year against the targets we've set. And by doing that, we can actually course correct. We see how we're tracking. If we're not quite hitting what we need to, we can make some adjustments. If we are, give ourselves a pat on the back and keep forging ahead with what we're doing. So 3 key principles there that we need to get right is think bigger, raise the standard of what you expect, break the targets down, and then monitor the progress. So, excuse me. Let's jump and look at the worksheet, because I think you'll find this super juicy. Okay. Here we go. Here's the worksheet. And let's just jump in and put some numbers in here. So we're going to start with figuring out what your desired profit is. So that's the first row here. And how we do that is really simple. We go through a goal setting process and figure out what you want for your life. How you want your life to look, how you want your holidays to look, your investments, your family, all that sort of stuff. And then once we've done that, we figure out how much profit we need to make from our business. So we're creating the business to serve our life goals. That's super important. Often what happens in business is the business drives what we can do with our life. We want to turn it around the other way. So that's the first point. So we decide how much profit we want to make to create the lifestyle that we have. Now let's say today for this example, we're going to aim for a $400,000 profit. So $400,000 profit. We just whack that number in there, $400,000. Now, for you, this might be less than you're currently making, or it might be more, or it might be exactly what you want to make. Doesn't really matter. You can put your own numbers in when you download the worksheet. So all you need to do is put design in the comments, or just click the download button, and you can do this yourself and just have a play with it. Next thing we want to do is put in, what are the fixed costs of running our business? So those are all the running costs of running the business. It doesn't include, this is important, it doesn't include materials, on the tools or on-site out in the field labor, equipment hire, and any subcontractors you use. That's not included here, but it's all the other running costs. You know, it's got your lease, your rent, your fuel, stationery, repairs and maintenance, advertising, accountancy, admin costs, people who are in the office, their wages. And we also want to include your salary in this. That's super important. So we want to make sure that we're factoring in a good market salary for yourself straight away. So let's say for this business, we need $350,000 of fixed costs, overheads for the year. Okay, so that's sweet as. It's about $30,000 a month, that kind of thing. Okay, so what that tells us is we need to make $750,000 of gross profit. Now, gross profit simply is the profit you make from your jobs. Simple as that. Just as an aside, you put your figures in the yellow boxes here, and the other boxes will calculate themselves. Then we enter our gross profit margin. So our gross profit margin is simply the profit we make off our jobs. So for example, it's the revenue less all the direct costs of doing your jobs, which is your out in the field labor, materials, subcontractors, and equipment hire. So let's say we're aiming for 40% here, which is a benchmark we often use with our members. Good benchmark to hit. 40%. Now, this is where it gets super juicy, super exciting, is if we want to make $400,000 in profit, and we've got $350,000 in cost, overheads, and we can hit a 40% margin, we need to have revenue of $1.875 million. That's what we need to turn over revenue-wise each year. And then the next cell here is the monthly figure. So that's what we need to do monthly, $156,250. So now what we've done is we've said, well, I want to make $400,000. We know what our cost structures are. Shows us what revenue we need to hit. $1.875 million or $156,250. That's like our budget or our target for every month, and we can see how we're tracking with that. Okay, sweet. So we now have a revenue target. We know what we need to do to get the goal that we have. Next thing is, what's the average size of our jobs? Now, I know this is going to vary massively depending on the type of work you do, but let's get the average size job. So if you do $100,000 in a month, let's say in revenue, and you have 100 jobs that you invoice, that's $1,000 in average cost. So let's just call it $1,000. Yours will be, if you're doing a lot of servicing work, it'll be a bit less. If you do a lot more projects, it'll be a lot higher potentially. What tells us? That tells us is we need to do 156 jobs a month. That's how many jobs we need to get through. So we can track that. Sweet. So that's another piece of the puzzle. We're breaking it right down. And then the last piece, and this is super helpful and often forgotten, is what's our conversion rate on inquiries? So if we need 156 jobs, we're not going to win all the quotes or bids we do. So we're going to figure out how many we're going to win. So let's say we win 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. So that's 60%. So we're popping 60% here. And that then tells us, how many inquiries or leads we need each month, which is 260 leads. So what we've done is we've just sketched out the whole business. We've designed, business by design. We know exactly what we need to hit to achieve the profit that we want to make. In this case, to make $400,000 profit, we need to hit $156,250 per month in rev. We need to do 156 jobs, and we need 260 leads coming in a month so we can feed next month's revenue. Simple as that. You put that on the wall, and then you measure progress against that each week and each month. See how you're tracking. Now, just one little thing here I want to touch on before we finish up is this little figure here, the gross margin. This is everything. So at 40%, we need to hit $156,000 a month. Let's say it doesn't go so well, and we can only hit 35%. You'll notice how the revenue you need to hit goes up a lot. So now we need to do over $2 million a year, 178,500 odd per month. So the profitability, the margins that you achieve on your jobs, absolutely critical here. Let's say things go really well, we can hit 45%. Now you only need to do 1.66 million in yearly rev and just under 139,000 in monthly revenue. So the margins here are absolutely critical. And you can have a play with this when you download the worksheet. I think it'll really focus you in on the profitability of your jobs, because it makes an enormous difference on how much work you need to do. So let's just leave it at 40%. Okay. So what we've done, we've basically gone full circle. We've said, what do we need to achieve in our business? We know what the profit is, and we're designing out how the business needs to look from a numbers and a profit and a financial point of view to actually hit that. Now, this is critical to do, because if you don't, you're going to get stuck in the weeds. You're going to have that strategy of hoping that you achieve profit at the end of the month or the year. When you sketch this out and you put it on the wall and you use it as your targets every week, month, and year, you're going to create profit by design and create a business by design. Super helpful. It's going to set you up for massive success this year. So if you want a copy of the worksheet, please just comment design in the comments, or just click the download button on the page, and we'll shoot this straight out to you. Hope you find it super helpful. Happy designing the business that you want. Hey, I hope you liked the video. Check out all the other videos in the channel and like and subscribe.